which vehicle actually costs less to drive in a 5-year true cost comparison? The Honda Accord Hybrid or the Model 3 Standard Range Plus? I'm Jonathan Stewart, and welcome to Cleanerwatt. There are many factors that we need to look at when comparing the total cost of ownership for these two vehicles, but first we of course need to start out with the purchase price for these vehicles. The 2020 Model 3 Standard Range Plus model can currently be purchased for $39,990. It offers an EPA rated range of 250 miles on a charge and can go 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. The 2020 Accord EX Hybrid can be purchased for around $29,520, and its total range according to the EPA is 614 miles, and it goes 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. The Accord EX Hybrid comes with many of the same features that can be found standard on the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, so this is a pretty fair comparison and a pretty close comparison feature to feature. But as you can see, the Model 3 Standard Range Plus at the time of purchase is somewhere around $10,000 more expensive. But in a 5-year true cost comparison, which one is actually cheaper? Let's dive into the numbers and find out. When you go to purchase a Honda Accord from a dealership or you go online to buy a Model 3, you not only pay for the vehicle, but there is usually some kind of delivery or destination fee. And when you add that to the Honda Accord EX Hybrid, you get an actual purchase price of around $30,475. For the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, in order to get the color blue here shown on the screen, that's an extra $1,000, and there's a $1,200 delivery and destination fee. So for our example, comparing a blue Accord to a blue Model 3, we get a purchase price of the Model 3 Standard Range Plus of $42,190. Another big thing we need to figure out is how much each of these vehicles cost to drive when it comes to fuel or electricity. So if we go to FUELECONOMY.GOV and look at the information from that agency, we see that if we drive 15,000 annual miles in each of these vehicles based on current fuel and energy prices, that the Model 3 Standard Range Plus vehicle will cost you somewhere around $450 per year in electricity. The Honda Accord EX Hybrid should cost somewhere around $600 a year in fuel cost. Another big factor that plays into the true cost of ownership of a vehicle is how much maintenance do you have to do and how much does that cost over this 5-year period. If you look at the official maintenance schedule for the Honda Accord, you see that it recommends these services under these timelines. Every 10,000 miles you need to replace the oil. You need to replace the tires, most likely after 40 or 50,000 miles, or maybe less depending on how you drive. The spark plugs need to be replaced every 60,000 miles. The coolant should be replaced every 15,000 miles. The brake fluid every 25,000 miles. And most likely in this 5 years, you'll at least replace the brake pads once. The Tesla Model 3 requires very little maintenance, but Tesla does recommend every 2 years or every 25,000 miles, whichever comes first, you take your vehicle to a Tesla service center and they will do some basic maintenance on the vehicle, and that'll cost you around $425 for this particular service. At some point in this 5 years, for the base Model 3 with the 18-inch tires, you'll have to replace these tires, and that'll cost around $900. Really, the only other thing that needs to be replaced in the Model 3 is they recommend to replace the cabin filter every 2 years or so. So we've gone over a lot of these inherent costs that you have with driving a vehicle. But another really important one that is one of the key big factors for the true cost of ownership for a vehicle is how much does that vehicle depreciate and how much is it worth at the end of 5 years, 75,000 miles. The reason this is so important is because this is how much of the value of the car you have used during this 5 years. If you were to sell the vehicle at the end of that 5 years, how much money would you recoup from your purchase price? The remainder that you did not recoup is, of course, how much it cost you to drive the vehicle. So according to Kelley Blue Book, the 2015 Honda Accord EXL Hybrid with 75,000 miles in good condition has a private party resale value of around $12,302. That vehicle sold new for just around $32,000. So that means that in 5 years, the Honda Accord Hybrid has lost 62% of its initial value. On the other hand, Teslas are known for really holding their value very well. IC Cars recently did some research and put out an article and showed that according to their research, the Tesla Model 3 after 1 year of ownership retained the most value of any other vehicle on the market. According to their research, the Model 3 only lost 5.5% or $2,529 after 1 year of ownership. This was much lower than other popular vehicles on this list. And although the Model 3 is not actually 5 years old, if we use data from Autolist.com and look at this chart, we see they estimate that the Model 3 after 75,000 miles will be worth somewhere around 40% less than when it was newly purchased. So we're going to use the 40% number for the depreciation of a Model 3 after 5 years and 75,000 miles. Potentially the Model 3 could actually lose less value than this, but we're going to go ahead and use the best data that we have. One last factor that I want to consider before we actually dive into the cost comparison is the warranty of these vehicles. The Model 3 Standard Range Plus battery is guaranteed for 8 years or 100,000 miles and is guaranteed to retain at least 70% of its capacity. The Model 3 powertrain is guaranteed for 8 years, 100,000 miles, and the comprehensive total vehicle warranty is 4 years or 50,000 miles. The Accord Hybrid has an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty for the hybrid system and the hybrid battery, a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty on the powertrain, and the comprehensive warranty is 3 years or 36,000 miles. So with all this information, let's put this all together and see what it actually costs to drive a Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus for 5 years or 75,000 miles during this 5 years, and how much does it actually cost per mile during this time. So if you purchase a Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus for $42,190 and you pay 7.5% sales tax, that'll be $3,164. The energy cost after 5 years, if we use the FUELECONOMY.GOV calculation, will be somewhere around $2,250. Based on quotes that I've received for insuring a Model 3, you'll pay somewhere around $6,000 in 5 years of insurance for the Model 3. If you finance your vehicle at a 3% interest rate for 60 months, the financing cost will come to somewhere around $3,543. When it comes to maintenance, if you do 3 of the 25,000 mile service appointments and replace the tires and the cabin filter a few times, you'll come out to around $2,245 in maintenance. And then I went ahead and put down $1,000 for repairs just to cover any incidentals that might happen out of warranty during this period of time. And of course, we need to factor in depreciation as we talked about. And so if the Model 3 truly loses 40% of its value in this 5 years and 75,000 miles, that will be a loss of $16,876 of value. So the final tally is that in 5 years and 75,000 miles, the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus vehicle will cost you $35,078 or 47 cents per mile. If we examine those exact same numbers using the same calculation methods for the Accord EX Hybrid, you can see that based on the purchase price that we came up with of $30,475, if you add in sales tax, fuel cost, insurance, financing cost, maintenance, repairs, and depreciation like we talked about before, you get a total cost of ownership during this period of time, 5 years, 75,000 miles, of $35,138, or once again, 47 cents per mile. So as you can see, when you put this all together and you compare the true cost after 5 years for the Model 3 versus the Accord Hybrid, you can see that although the Model 3 costs $10,000 more at the time of purchase, when you look at the true cost of ownership, the vehicles are basically equal. Also, if you have solar panels on your roof to help power the Model 3, or you pay lower rates of electricity than around the 13 cents per kilowatt average that FUELECONOMY.GOV uses, your vehicle will actually cost less than my calculations that I've done here. And on the reverse side, it's very likely that fuel costs will go up from our historic lows right now, and that will make the Accord Hybrid cost more to fuel in the future. Another big reason why an electric car, especially a Tesla, makes a lot more sense is because in the long term, an electric vehicle should last a lot longer and should retain more value for years to come. According to a chart that was posted by TestLoop, they show here that a gas-burning vehicle, after around 200,000 miles or so in most cases, is worth virtually nothing. But they estimate that an electric vehicle, based on cars in their fleet, even with 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 miles, still retains value because it is still a drivable vehicle. And as Elon Musk pointed out on Twitter, the Model 3 drive unit and body is designed like a commercial truck for a 1,000,000-mile life, and the battery modules are designed to last between 300,000 and 500,000 miles. So if you're trying to figure out which of these vehicles makes sense for your family, I highly recommend you consider the Model 3 to see if that will fit into your life. For most people, 250 miles of range is plenty, and Tesla offers a very robust charging network that covers most places in North America, many places in Europe and China as well, and other parts of the world are beginning to get more superchargers. And this will allow you to have the convenience of a normal car with an electric Tesla Model 3. So don't let the purchase price of a Tesla scare you away. When you actually do the math, the vehicles are more affordable than you may think. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something as well. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, if you click the bell icon, you'll be notified when new videos are published. Also, if you did like the video, if you consider clicking the like button so other people can find the video as well. I also wanted to take a moment to thank these Patreon supporters which help me produce this content. If you're interested in finding out more information about the Patreon community that I've set up, you can find out more information in the link in the description below. Thank you so much.